I didn't forget that. This is the second time in a row. I won a gold star today. We started out with the recording so that we can replay. Yay. If nothing else successful, I did that today. Okay, so we are here to walk through, I'm going to give you a tutorial on adding schedule patterns to your staff and walk you through that process. I have created a couple of tools to make your lives a little bit easier based on some of your shift templates that you provided to me. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. All right. So in the new platform, the way that schedule patterns are assigned to your individual employees are with what's called a schedule profile. So we will navigate into the employees' information page. Their profiles are located there. And within that, I have assigned what's called personal schedules to their workday. Within that, we will modify individual schedules for each employee. There are some other templates available that if you have within your department and haven't provided to me yet, I know that EMS happens to use schedule patterns that are organizationally wide. So what I mean by that is that for a particular shift, they work Monday and Wednesday, week one, Tuesday and Thursday, week two, and that pattern continues month over month or week over week, and that is applied to multiple individuals. That's one set of patterns. I know that the nursing department at the nursing home uses more of a repeating pattern, but it's very individualized by the employee. And that's the first part that I'm going to show you is how to create an individualized pattern that repeats for your staff that is not used across your department. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So to navigate there, you're going to go to the three lines in the top left, which is the menu button. And from there, it gives us a bunch of options. We're going to start with team. And from the team, you're going to select my team. And if you press that button, I've noticed that it jumps to the top of the list, which then makes it that you're on the icon below. So be mindful of that, that you're still on team and you're looking to navigate to the employee
Hello.
information tab. And when you select that, it brings up all the
Okay.
employees that
Oh,
you have.
is your system down?
Cheryl, you're not muted. Um, so it brings you access to everybody you have access to. I'm going to whittle my list down and I'm going to pick on dietary again today. Thank you, Heather and Bethany. So once you have all of your people here on the page and you want to be able to toggle between adding those individual profiles to your employees, one thing you'll want to notice is that when you go to select your employees and go to the next spot, whether it's a schedule, whether it's their information page or the time card, you can go into multiple employees, but you can only select all the employees that are available on one particular page. If you have a large department, um, you'll want to make sure to change your page view from the standard is 10. You'll want to increase that to something that is beyond the threshold of employees that you have in your department so that you can have access to all of your employees at once. So I have mine set to 200 because I have access to a lot of people. And so from there, now I'm seeing at least 200 rows. This department has 29 people, and I can see that up here that I have 1 through 29. Now, to be able to toggle between them, I'm going to select the check mark in the top left-hand corner. It will select everybody that's viewable on the page. From there, I'm going to navigate to view the employee profile by selecting the view button on the right-hand side of the screen. And now we're into the employee information, employee profile. From there, there's a profiles tray on the right-hand side. In some cases, it may be closed and you may need to open it using the arrow at the top. So once it's open, The schedule profiles, also called workday profiles, are all the way at the bottom. So it's work schedule. I used a mass filter or a mass update and updated everybody to be assigned a personal workday schedule. This allows for you to then go in and add their personal schedule. If they needed a mass schedule that was one that across your department, this is where we could select one of the other options that we have available. For the individual schedule, you're going to select the edit button, and it's going to give you the little wizard for adding the schedule. You're going to figure out whether you're adding 1, 2, 3, or 4 week pattern. So I would recommend changing it from days to weeks and selecting the number of weeks for your rotation. For this frame of reference, I'm going to use a 2-week pattern. Whatever date you have here, it will change the day of the week that's first visible. I know a lot of people tend to start their schedules on a Sunday, so it's a little bit easier to view. I've changed this to start on 10/13 and the initial cycle as well as the effective date. This initial cycle date is the same as what was called the anchor date in WFC, and then the effective date is when that schedule will be applied to the employee going forward. From there, you have a few different options for adding your schedules. I have added some various shortcuts for you. There's a bunch of different shifts in here, depending on who you are and which ones you provided to me. So if you wanted to add an 11 to 7 shift, you could select from this list the night 11 to 7, or to give yourself a little bit of a shortcut, you can start typing it in. If you know the 11 to 7 is night, if you type in N, it will bring up the 11 to 7 and it will populate that for you. If you didn't want to use those shortcuts and you wanted to manually type it all in because you have all this extra time, then feel free. You would select the fixed schedule. What a fixed schedule offers you is a fixed start and end time to your shift, and you would then populate the from and to time. And then come down to your next day and keep adding. Maybe they're on a day shift, select the day, and then it will populate. And you would continue this pattern down through the various scheduled days that you have to add for them. And then you will say save. I'm not going to save because I don't want to save that to Heather. And then when you're done with that employee, you will toggle to your next employee and you will go down to the next workday schedule, select edit, and walk through the same list, adding to the next employee. How is that for everybody? Any questions on adding that particular pattern?
And obviously, Misty, this is going to be more massive at this time because of having to create it for all existing employees that work under each department. Otherwise, going forward, it's adding new hire shift schedules and or changes. But it's just this first time having to get your existing staff schedules in there. So just wanted to point out that, yeah, maybe this seems like a lot, but it doesn't have to be done tomorrow. It's something that can be chipped away at, allows you to get used to the system.
I would recommend using a date in October for us to implement your schedule, whether it's this previous Sunday or the upcoming Sunday, doesn't really matter. But if you could start anchoring those into October, then they should just continue forward for us. Once you have the pattern in, then we can connect on adding in your vacation times and such. But I think getting through the first hurdle of getting your schedule patterns in and rolling would be our first step.
And when you mention vacations, obviously that's what anything happening in 2025, because we don't care
Correct.
about 2024. It's just if people have already started asking for time off for 2025, that's where you could, once they're in, start plugging those in as well.
Yes. All right. Well, you all have my email. I will save this link out there so that you have it available to replay these steps. But you have my email and my phone number, so give me a call if you have any issues. All right. Thank you, everybody.